because I have heels on. Maybe. I don't live in Judea and Samaria, but I've been staying in Ariel for going on 3.5 months. So I first came to Israel 1.5 years ago on what is very similar to it's a Christian birthright program. I was one of the first to be able to go on this trip, but growing up, I didn't really know much about Israel. I knew a lot about the Jewish people. My dad grew up in a Jewish neighborhood in the Bronx. I knew a lot about the Shoah, but I never looked past the end of, or like the liberations. What was the Zionist movement? What turned into modern day Israel? And so when I came here on my first tour, something that struck me was initially it felt like home, which was very strange for me. And second was how much of what I did know was completely wrong. How much I was seeing, I just had a misconception from the media about how much security I would have here, mainly security, but what the people were like, what the culture would be like. And so when I went back to the States, I was still in university. I recently just graduated in May. I became very heavily involved with Israeli advocacy, which led me here this summer. I was initially working with the United States Israel Education Association and was lucky enough to be pulled on for this project with Avi and Friends of Ariel.
Thank you. And if the world was listening, what would you say?
So if the world was listening, I think there's so many things I would say, but I think the number one thing I would like to express, and something that I've shared with some groups that have come to Ariel, is that you can have all the books in the world. You can go to lectures, you can go to conferences, but there's nothing like firsthand knowledge. And so just to go to the region, just to go to Judea and Samaria and experience it yourself, to see it firsthand. I know living in Ariel, even just for this short amount of time, it's been a living, breathing picture of what coexistence could be. And something that Avi often talks about with groups is peace from the ground up. And I think that if we just take people to the area that is most controversial on an international scale, and you put them in the region, that they'll see there's so much more. There's so much more to it than what we're told and what we're told to believe.
Thank you so much.